I'm going to personally request you that to keep about 5 or 10 minutes at the end of your discourse, if I may call that. There are a lot of people in this room who would like some mentoring from you. They might have some questions.
Well, Shankar, you've always been very kind to me. I'm very, very grateful. You have used two big words. I don't know if I deserve them, but I will, with your permission, I will speak now.
Okay.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, big round of applause for Mr. Murthy.
Thank you. It is a pleasure to speak at this forum, though virtually. Congratulations to my friend, Sri Avik Sarkar, and the staff of ABP Amrit Bazar Patrika on completing 100 years of valuable service to the nation. In keeping with the national spirit of Avik, this conference is all about the ideas of India. That certainly includes how digitalization can accelerate national development. What is national development? National development can be defined by 3 parameters, all of which help in improving the quality of life of its citizens and in improving the future of our nation. They are, first, of course, good, innovative, efficient, and honest public governance. Second, Human Development Index. And third, per capita work productivity, innovation, and problem solving, resulting in improved per capita gross national product. We all know what good public governance is. I don't need to go into that. HDI, or Human Development Index, is about how well the citizens of a country are impacted by the various public and private good facilities in a country, like education, healthcare, nutrition, shelter, justice, utilities, quality of governance, and quality of life, and other facilities. In some way, high per capita GNP with a low Gini coefficient measures how well a citizen is empowered economically to lead a good quality of life for self and family, save enough money for a better retired life, and to move towards a higher level of HDI for himself or herself, as well as for his or her progenies. This congregation is about digitalization, enhancing all these 3 parameters. Because without digitalization, there cannot be a better India. It is also, most importantly, about raising work productivity, improving planning, quickening reaction of the public governance systems to citizen requests, enhancing the quality and speed of execution of public projects, efficient and honest use of public money, improving comfort for the citizens, improving quality of their life, including speed and ease of access to governmental services like administrative issues, justice, education, nutrition, transportation, healthcare, and improving governance by enhancing transparency and accountability, reducing cost of products and services, and improving quality of goods and services for the citizens of our country. Now, who needs these more than the poor people and emerging nations like India? As you people know, technology is a great leveler that provides the same quality, the same courtesy, and the same speed of services at the same cost to everyone, rich and the poor, the powerful and the weak, the urban and the rural, and the educated and the not so well educated. Technology enhances the confidence of the poor, the weak, and the disenfranchised in a nation. This conference is timely and much needed. So I will focus my talk on what we must do to make the power of digitalization ubiquitous in the public governance system in India. You will agree that public governance is the most important and the most impactful instrument that we have to make the life of our citizens better. What is digitalization? It is the process of collecting information, converting information to the digital form, storing it, and transmitting it so that man computer communication device interaction resulting in human decisions can take place comfortably and efficiently in real time on an anytime, anywhere, and any device basis. Such digitalization has become possible due to a set of factor conditions. What are those? They are miniaturization of computing, storage, and communications devices, enhanced speed and scale of computing, storage, and communication, heavy reductions in the cost of computing, storage, and communication, large scale availability of powerful and affordable sensor devices, imaging devices, and video devices, advances in digital cryptography, and advances in software technology, enabling new paradigms like World Wide Web, cloud computing, Internet of Things, 5G communications, big data and analytics, artificial intelligence, machine learning, and blockchain, to name a few. This is not a technical forum, so therefore I will not go into details of these technologies. There is a fear whether these technologies will replace humans by machines. My own view is that these technologies, when used as assistive technologies, will indeed enhance job opportunities for our youngsters. The past data on computing automation supports this. Most developed nations embrace these technologies enthusiastically and reduced unemployment levels while scaling up their operations. India has done reasonably well in leveraging the power of digitalization. Today, our citizens have access to online retail, groceries, housing, insurance, education, entertainment, recruitment, social media, healthcare, and many other services. The results have not been, however, as spectacular in the digitalized services provided by the governments. However, there are examples of stunning results when the Indian government invited well-known technology policy experts and gave them full freedom. There are two wonderful examples of that, and they are Sri Sam's 512 line digital switch project in the 80s, and the Aadhaar project in 2000, 2010, whatever it is, led by my former colleague Sri Nandan Nelikani. As I said before, I believe that bringing the power of digitalization to the poorest citizen in the remotest village in India is what will truly herald our success in this initiative. Therefore, digitalization in public governance is the most important milestone of progress for our country. While there are many reasons for this not so satisfactory situation, I will focus on just a few major reasons and offer some suggestions to remedy them. The first requirement for making digitalization work for public governance in India is enhancing the readiness and the enthusiasm of the Indian software service companies to play a larger role in developing, maintaining, and upgrading digitalized systems for our government organizations and enhancing the readiness of the government for the successful deployment and adoption of digitalized systems. The Indian software services companies have had a stellar win-win record of developing information systems for public governance for developed countries like the UK, Australia, Canada, and the US, to name a few. From my own experience between 1981 and 2014 at Infosys, it is fair to say that most large Indian software services companies derived hardly 5 to 10% of their services revenue from the domestic market. The revenue from developing and maintaining public governance systems in India formed a small part of even this small number. I would also say that every project that Infosys took up for either a state government or for the central government during the time I was at Infosys ended up in a loss. I hope they have better experience now, and I'm sure. The best employees were reticent to be part of a government project. The middle level managers were hesitant to allocate their best employees to such projects out of fear that these employees may leave the organization. The project managers were hesitant to manage a government project since the accounts receivable would mount and remain undiminished for an extended period, even after successfully completing the project. Indian software services companies have tried hard, I am told, but have not had as much success as they would like in helping our central and state governments leverage digitalization in a big way. By and large, the high-level Indian bureaucrats are second to none in the world in their aspiration, competence, enthusiasm, commitment, and hard work. But to bring the fruits of digitalization to our public governance systems on a large scale, the Indian software services companies will be required to undertake several large projects with many governmental organizations. These companies, that is the Indian software services companies, must learn to work with myriad bureaucrats at all levels. Therefore, the blessings, the enthusiasm, the readiness, the accountability, and the commitment of every one of our bureaucrats at every level is crucial for the success of digitalized projects in the public governance system. There are many reasons for this unsatisfactory situation. They are inadequate quality and inadequate training of software professionals deployed by the Indian software services companies. lack of incentives for these professionals to take up projects for governments in India, incomplete and inconsistent specifications, frequent changes and expansion of the scope in specifications midway through a project, unrealistic price expectations, unreasonable expectations for outcomes, discourteous treatment of professionals by the customers from of the professionals from the vendor companies by the customers, lack of adequately trained professionals in the government to perform their role in a project, inability to verify by our customers whether mechanisms like disaster recovery are actually in place, lack of customer accountability for timely and quality completion of their responsibilities, outdated models for evaluation and pricing, and as I said before, not paying the vendor for a long period, even after the successful completion of a project. The young professionals at Infosys used to tell me when I was there that software services companies from other developing countries of South Asia and Africa have had similar experience in dealing with their own governments. On the other hand, they would tell me that the experience of Indian software services companies with the newly industrialized countries of East and Southeast Asia and with the developed countries provided a contrasting picture for the successful completion of such projects on time, within budget, and exceeding the quality expectations. My younger colleagues would also tell me that customers of the public governance systems of these advanced economies showed the same level of enthusiasm, professionalism, commitment, accountability, response time, quality and productivity of work, competence, and reasonableness in working with the vendors as it happened with the private sector customers in these advanced economies. Large scale adoption of IT systems enthusiastically by the governments in India is therefore an important challenge that must be solved with a sense of alacrity. There are a few components to this solution. Let me talk about them. First is the transformation of culture. This is complex and will take a long time. In the end, India's success in transformational digitalization projects depend on what culture we adopt. As Professor Peter Drucker once said, culture eats strategy for lunch. The biggest challenge for our country is whether we Indians can develop a culture of aspiration, national pride, problem solving orientation, benchmarking with the global best, professionalism, discipline, meritocracy, encouraging English education, hard work, quality, productivity, honesty, open mindedness, pluralism, humility, desire to learn from people who have performed better than us, and other attributes needed for India to join the group of developed countries in digitalization. Second is the additional training of software professionals to be deployed by software services companies in Indian public governance system development, upgradation, and maintenance. Our companies must invest even more heavily in training. Of course, companies like Infosys have done a stellar job comparable with perhaps better than most global companies in the area of training, but I think all companies need to do this. Third is creating an incentive scheme for software professionals of our companies, that is the Indian software service companies, to participate more enthusiastically in public governance digitalization projects. Fourth is the education of professionals in our customer organizations in both the central government and the state governments to perform their expected role adequately in the development of a good digitalized public governance system. This is an important challenge for both the governments and the industry. Fifth is the creation of a body of knowledge on the formal methodology of software development, upgradation, and maintenance of public governance systems adapted to the environment of Indian state and central governments. This is a supra company issue. Therefore, the industry association may want to produce a definitive and authoritative handbook on the full life cycle of a digitalization project. Such a handbook should detail each step of the entire process of digitalization. It should document the global best practices, standards, do's and don'ts, checklists, and tools for every step in the digitalization process. It should refer to global benchmarks for quality and productivity used for developing digitalized systems for public governance in the advanced economies in the world. It should document the experiences of our software professionals who participated in installing similar systems in the developed world. This handbook must be updated every 6 months to include the latest technologies, methods, tools, processes, paradigms, experiences, and learnings. There is so much that our governments can learn from some very successful national projects executed right here in India by enlightened professionals like Sri Nandan Nilekani and Sri Sam Pitroda. Finally, policy experts will have to ponder deeply on creating policies that will encourage digitalization. These policies should aim to incentivize the use of these digitalization technologies in basic facilities like public governance, education, healthcare, clean water, air, electricity, road and highway construction, PWD, nutrition, supply chain, manufacturing, and agriculture, as well as in private investments to make them more efficient, less taxing on the environment, less costly, and accessible to more people as early as possible. The policy should incentivize the development of talent for learning these technologies and developing applications. Applications will only be developed if the market values them and pays for them adequately. If the government is the main customer, then speed of decision making, quick deployment, and timely payment to the entrepreneurs are essential. If we did these three things, I believe that our youngsters will develop myriad applications of these technologies to suit our needs. Once applications are available to make life more productive, more comfortable, healthier, and enjoyable, I have no doubt at all that India will embrace digitalization even more enthusiastically. Thank you very much.
ये है Ideas of India.